Lord Jeffrey Archer is in India for a tour to launch his latest book, Only Time Will Tell. It's been a wonderful conversation so far. He says never rely on luck. You just have to work very, very hard. What have you've dedicated this book to Alan Quilter, who's your high school teacher.
Alan Quilter taught me English at school, gave me my love of Shakespeare, gave me my love of literature, gave me my love of writing, and I wanted, in this big effort at the end of my life, this big attempt to write 5 novels in one great pantheon from 1920 to 2020, I wanted to say thank you to him for inspiring me, because I'm a great believer that a good teacher does inspire you for the whole of your life.
So is Mr. Holcombe, Harry Clifton's teacher, modelled after him?
He was my headmaster. Mr. Holcombe was my headmaster in the first school I ever went to, so taught me to read and write. So yes, he's there as well.
So I was reading something that Ian McEwan said recently, and he said that once you finish writing a book, you get into the business of peddling it. So all these promotions and launches and tours and everything, does that tire you out, or do you think that that is also a part of the absorbing learning process that you go through?
It's both. You learn a tremendous amount. You meet the people. In this case, I'm doing 5 cities in India in 6 days. So it's a learning process the whole time, but it is exhausting. But my wife always says, what would you rather, Jeffrey? That you go into a bookshop and 3 people want to buy your book, or as happened last night in Bombay, they had to close the doors because they could not get any more people into the building. Which would you rather have? I'd rather have the building so full I can't get into it and I'm exhausted than I'm sitting there on my own with only 3 people who want to buy the book. So yes, it is exhausting, but that's the way I would have it. Thank you very much.
You've also said that India is one of your favorite places, one of your favorite book launch destinations. Why is that?
Well, we have to launch in India the whole book because of your pirates. Once this book is published, it'll be on the streets at 1/3 of the price 2 or 3 days later. Now, you can put that down to Indian enterprise, but it's not fair on the publishing company, and it's not fair on the bookshop. So we have to be here first. And the Indian people know this, and some of them are doing all they can to stop it. But that's the reason it comes out #1. But the reason I keep coming back is because the Indian people are so kind to me.
Good. I expected to hear a flattering answer, so thank you for that. Thank you. Ian McEwan also says that there are several writers who rearranged his mind, and I really like that phrase, rearranged one's mind. So who have been your inspirations?
Certainly Scott Fitzgerald and Steinbeck, who I think are beautiful command of language and can give you an atmosphere and feeling in an amazing way. I love Dickens because he's the granddaddy of storytellers, and I love storytellers. I love Dumas. I think The Count of Monte Cristo is one of the magic books of all time. So I like storytellers more than writers. I mean, it doesn't stop me admiring, say, Patrick White and Nadim Godimer, but who reads Patrick White and Nadim Godimer? And they both got Nobel Prizes. I want to be read. So I try and write a story that begins once upon a time, and you have to turn the page. That's what I try to do.
Cain and Abel, one of the best stories ever. Now, you've rewritten it and made it much more crisper.
Well, I'm a better craftsman after 30 years. What happened was that I suddenly decided to find out how many printings there'd been, and there'd been 84 reprints of Cain and Abel, and it sold 33 million copies, and 50 million people have read it in India. So I thought, look, I'm nearly 70. I'm 70 now, but I was at the time nearly 70. I'll rewrite it, because if it's lasted 30 years, why won't it last another 30 years? So it's the new Cain and Abel is crisper. It's 7,000 words shorter. The story hasn't changed at all. The story is exactly the same.
And the ending is the same.
No, exactly the same. Don't worry about that.
Because if it lasted for so many years without you sort of tinkering with it, why now?
Just that I'm a better craftsman. And as I say, I didn't change the story a bit. So when you read Cain and Abel now, you'll get the same story.
You just said earlier that you're 70. Is that because
70 3/4.
So do you look this way because I read somewhere that you don't eat desserts?
It's my new thing. I've lost a stone since I last saw you. I've lost 5 kilos since I last saw you. 6 kilos. And my new rule is no third course.
And no
No
desserts?
bread, no third course. And if possible, only one course at night.
And no desserts? Are
No
you still-
dessert ever.
So aren't you tempted at all? I mean,
Oh, yeah,
because
once
you
a
work
week.
so hard, you do, yeah.
I think the rule for me, I break the rule once a week or once a fortnight. But I'm very strict on only once a week or once a fortnight. The rest, I don't even consider it.
And the cricket match, the World Cup, you said earlier that you'll predict who will win.
Yes, I
Who'll
know.
make it to the finals,
No, I
yeah.
didn't know who'll win, but I know who's going to be in the final. Yes, I've been watching it very carefully indeed. And I'm bound to say to you, the final will be between England and Ireland.
How do you say that when England hasn't won a single match?
Yes, it has. It beat
in,
South
in the
Africa.
World Cup, I mean, the World Cup.
Never won the World
Cup, sorry.
No, we never. No, this is our time. Our time has come. We're going to do it now.
So, yeah.
No, I think the final will probably be between India and South Africa. I think they look to me like the two best teams this time round. And heaven knows who'll win, because a one-day match, 50 overs, anything can happen.
Lord Jeffrey Archer is a man with boundless energy and enthusiasm. He'll tell us more about how he overcomes obstacles, because life is never a smooth course. But that's after a short break. You're watching Off the Record, and Lord Jeffrey Archer is here with his latest book, Only Time Will Tell.